Actual employee had to yell at customer bothering me for help while I'm shopping. By user IDontWorkHereLady. Just doing some shopping at Champs when I get a tap on my shoulder. Man asks me for help getting a jacket from a higher up rack. Me. Oh, sorry man, I don't work here. Other customer. I know, you're just taller than me, so can you help? I'm 5'9" on my tiptoes. And this dude is 5'7"? Okay. As I proceed to reach for this jacket like a kid reaching for snacks on the top shelf. I get the jacket, hand it to him, and walk away before he says anything. 2 minutes later, he says I got the wrong size. An employee overheard this, and started asking him nicely what he was doing. He explained, and the look on this employee's face was perplexed. Sir, he told you he doesn't work here. He's 2 inches taller than you. Why would you ever think you should ask a random person to help you shop? Other customers stayed silent while she went and got the hook that can get clothes from high up. The stick that was in the back behind a door that said employees only. I got rung up after this, and they scanned a coupon they had that I didn't to give me some off as a thank you for my inconvenience. Yeah, I don't work here, but I got asked for help on the top shelf like the Jolly Green Giant at 5'9". Black shirt or Target employee. By user Achilles. So this literally happened about 30 minutes ago. I went into Target just to grab a couple things and leave. I was looking at an item when I just hear someone go, "Excuse me." Me, being me, I just ignored it and continued my shopping and walked off. This lady goes and follows me into the next aisle and taps my shoulder. I turned to her and said, "Can I help you?" And she's fuming. She asked for my manager, and when I tried to tell her I didn't work there, she interrupted me and just said, "Manager now." So I walked off and continued my shopping. Keep in mind I was wearing a black shirt with the logo of the restaurant I work at and sweats. No, I really don't work here. By user Kelsey Lake. This happened back in December last year, 2023, right after my late grandfather passed away. Kind of a long one. In mid-December, my final grandparent passed away. He was my mom's father. We were all very close, and I had moved him right down the street to be closer. It was a very painful loss. Me and my mother were the ones left to take care of everything as well. We needed to go out to the mall to buy outfits, accessories for family members.
They traveled from out of town and don't know the area and hadn't rented a vehicle.
In my already depressed state, and now having to run errands for these losers, I decided I don't care what other people have to see. Fuck them. My heart is hurting. I throw on a pair of these giant baggy sweatpants of my husband's. Bright green, so hideous, and a baggy, dirty anime tee that I had been wearing for the last 2 days. My hair, wonderfully greasy and unwashed, was thrown on the very top of my head in an Agatha Trunchbull-style bun. Very sexy. We set out onto the first store in the mall, a plus-size women's clothing store. I'm a plus-size girl, but my baggy clothes definitely added to how big I looked. I was walking around with clothes, and my mother went to the dressing room to set them all down. I grab one final black dress and head to the fitting room. As soon as I walk in, I look for the stall my mom went to. A woman is sitting in the waiting area portion of the dressing room. She looks up at me and immediately starts yelling at me about a red dress. I wasn't really listening, not my circus, not my monkeys. I knock on my mom's stall door, say, "Hey mom, let me in," and the woman starts again, but louder, and says, "Are you not capable of grabbing this red dress in a new size like I just asked you to?" This caught me completely off guard, so I just blankly stared at her while my hand is on the stall door. She cocks an eyebrow at me, and I guess the new expression on my face had her reassess her surroundings and situation. She stumbled over to the chair again and sat down and said, "Oh, do you not work here?" Now this lady has managed to really hit a button. I tell her, "Do I look like a fucking work here? What about me looks like I work here? Because I'm fat. Is that why you assumed I was an employee?" She stumbled over her words. She definitely didn't know what to say. I had already snapped. I spent the entire time I was changing talking shit about her to my mom. I could hear a little sorry every once in a while from outside, but I was over it. I left after finding what I needed from that store and flipped her off. I thought this would be my final I won't work here interaction, given my situation. I was wrong. We moved on to another large chain department store to buy a bunch of assorted jewelry for family members to pick from. Me and my mom are cutting through the little girls' clothing section to avoid the busy Saturday aisle traffic. Out of nowhere, a woman grabs me by my arm. My mom stops with me after she sees me stopping. This old woman starts in on how these prices don't match what the sale sign says on the wall there. Again, I have this what the fuck face on, and I look over at my mother who's standing right next to me, and I say, "Are you fucking kidding me? What am I fucking curious?"
Today screams, "I work at the mall."
Which cues the woman in on the fact that I do indeed not work there. She scrambled off quickly with no apology. Was I harsh? Probably. Will I ever want to go to the mall again? Probably not. Told her. I wore the grimiest clothes to the mall while shopping to be unbothered. Was asked if I work at the store 2 different times. I need a break. I guess I own a restaurant now. By username you missed. This happened about 8 months ago. I don't browse Reddit often, but I came across this subreddit recently and remembered this encounter. So first off, I speak a couple languages. Chinese isn't one of them, but I randomly got a text to my cell in Chinese. It roughly translated to, according to phone translation, "Hello, is this restaurant name? Our company will have a dinner next weekend. I want to book a private room for 8 to 10 people, a few days in advance. Please help me arrange it." Now, the message was pretty polite, so after I figured out what they wanted, I replied telling them they had the wrong number. They apologized for the misunderstanding. Now comes the reason why it's on this sub. About 6 hours later, I get an angry text from the same number, now in broken English, saying that they checked the number 3 times and yeah, they do have the right number. I tried telling them multiple times they had the wrong place, but they were very insistent. Eventually, I decided to give in. I informed them that we had an opening at 5 p.m. on the day they wanted. I was hoping they'd show up, learn they don't have a reservation, who makes restaurant reservations over text anyways, and be embarrassed in front of their boss. In hindsight, I probably just made trouble for the restaurant, but this guy was blowing up my phone and I text so rarely it didn't even cross my mind to block the number until a coworker asked why I didn't do that when I told her the story on break. After the initial conversation, I looked up the restaurant they wanted. It was in my state, but it was on the complete other side of the state. I also saw the number for the restaurant, which wasn't my number, but after they got upset, I couldn't be bothered to give it to them. Edit. I've been reading all your stories in the comments. I've gotten a laugh out of a few of them. But to clarify, I looked up this place online, and none of the digits in the phone numbers even match. Even the area code is different. The text was addressed to Boss Chen, so maybe they thought they were texting the owner and not the restaurant to reply to some of the comments I've seen. As for why I even engaged with them, they were initially polite and I was trying to be helpful. I don't think it was a scam. Or if it was, I have no idea what they were trying to get out of it. Not your typical story, but a funny twist. I used your Talon card 815. 1 year ago, my mother died. She was an ex-captain in a fire department. My father is currently still a member, and I was a member for 14 years before I moved away. Because of this, the newer members of the company had no idea who I was. When the engine arrived at the funeral home, the coffin is transported on the back of an engine on the hose bed for fire-depth funerals. One of the newer members asked me where the bathroom was, seeing how I just came out of it not 5 minutes before I showed him. During the services, he apparently noticed I was up front and asked one of the older guys who I was. Since I was just a guy in a suit, not a FD uniform because I am no longer a member, he thought I worked there. If you have ever been in an organization like this, you know that there are consequences for things like this. After the service, we all went back to the fire station to eat. The current captain brought this member up to me and said, "He will be your designated server today. Anything you need or want, he will get you." The poor guy then apologized profusely. He was teased constantly by the rest of the members for the day. Did you not see the portrait of the 3 of them in the hall? He's at all the family functions. How did you not know him? It gave everyone a much-needed laugh on a sad day.